Bhishma was a statesman, the head of the Kuru dynasty, a great general and a leader of Kshatriyas. He was also the great-grandfather of the Pandavas and Kauravas. Bhishma's greatness is unique as he maintained a lifelong celibacy. In the momentous hour of leaving the material body, Bhishma set a glorious example for the human society. In this video, I will narrate briefly about how Bhishma obtained a special boon from his father, King Shantanu. Shantanu, the youngest son of King Pradipa, who was then the king of the Kuru dynasty, was on a hunting trip when he saw a beautiful woman on the banks of the river Ganga. He fell in love with her and asked her to marry him. She agreed to marry him, but with one condition: he should never question her actions. If he breaks the condition, she would abandon him. Shantanu accepted the condition and lived a happy life with her. However, when a child was born, the queen would drown the child in the river Ganga. 7 sons were born and all were drowned. Shantanu had to remain silent because of his commitment. When the queen was about to drown the 8th child into the river, Shantanu was not able to control himself any longer. He stopped her from drowning the child and questioned her actions. After hearing Shantanu's harsh words, she justified her actions by narrating the following story. I am the goddess Ganga, and the 8 children that we conceived are the 8 Vasus who had been cursed to suffer human birth. Once, while wandering in the forest, the Vasus saw the cow Nandini at sage Vashishta's ashrama. Nandini is the daughter of Surabhi, the wish-fulfilling cow. One of the Vasus, named Dew, stole Nandini with the help of his brothers in the absence of the sage Vashishta. Vashishta came back to his ashrama and found Nandini and her calf missing. When the sage went into a trance and came to know that Nandini had been stolen by the Vasus, he cursed them to take birth within the human society. When the Vasus learned of Vashishta's curse, they hastened to the ashrama and begged for forgiveness. Upon their pleading, Vashishta showed mercy and said that the 7 Vasus will be liberated soon after their birth, except Dew. Dew was cursed to live a longer life on earth. Soon after leaving the sage's ashrama, the Vasus met me, and I agreed to become their earthly mother. After saying this, Ganga left Maharaja Shantanu, taking her son with her, and so the king returned to his palace with a broken heart. Some years later, as King Shantanu was roaming on the banks of the river Ganga, he saw a young boy blocking the water of the river with his celestial weapons. Shantanu recognized that the young boy was his son and begged Ganga to return him. In response to the king's appeal, Ganga Devi appeared before him. She said, "This is our 8th child, named Devavrata. He is already conversant with all kinds of celestial weapons, has mastered all departments of Vedic knowledge, and is fully acquainted with the duties of a king. Take charge of your son and protect him very carefully, for in the future he will perform many wonderful acts." King Shantanu nominated Devavrata as his successor to the throne. Some years later, King Shantanu met a beautiful girl in the forest. She was Satyavati, the daughter of a fisherman. He asked for her hand in marriage from her father. Satyavati's father agreed to the proposal with one condition, that his daughter's son should be the next king. King Shantanu could not accept the condition as he already promised the throne to his son Devavrata. Thus, with a heavy heart, King Shantanu returned to his palace. Devavrata noticed his father's sorrow and discovered the reason behind it from a minister. Devavrata then rushed to the cottage of the fisherman and begged him for Satyavati. The fisherman repeated his condition that Satyavati's son should be the royal successor. For the pleasure of his father, Devavrata gave up his rights of becoming the next king and promised to put the son of Satyavati on the throne of the kingdom. Satyavati's father was still not satisfied, as there was a possibility of disputes between Devavrata's children and Satyavati's son over the royal throne. To counter this, Devavrata further promised to observe a lifelong brahmacharyam and would not beget a child throughout the entire duration of his life. At that time, the demigods showered flowers upon Devavrata's head, and he became known as Bhisma, as he took a severe vow for the sake of his father. With the permission of the fisherman, Bhisma took Satyavati on his chariot to his father and informed him about his vows. King Shantanu was exceedingly happy and gave him a boon of Ichha Mrityu, the control over the time of his death. In the great battle of Kurukshetra, Bhisma was the supreme commander of the Kauravas. Bhisma was one of the powerful warriors of his time and history. He acquired his prowess and invincibility from being the son of the sacred Ganga and a student of Lord Parasurama. Bhisma was too powerful to be defeated by any warrior at that time. Later, with the help of Shigande, Arjuna attacked Bhisma. As Bhisma fell, his body was held above the ground by the shafts of Arjuna's arrows, which protruded from his back and through his arms and legs. While on his deathbed, Bhisma gave instructions to Yudhishthira about the duties of a righteous king. After lying on the arrow bed for 58 nights, the auspicious moment to leave his mortal body arrived. Meditating upon Lord Krishna, he left his body and became reinstated in his original position as one of the Vasus. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for my next video, and for those who have not subscribed, please subscribe and share. Hare Krishna.